What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video. This video is going to be looking at how Conte could take over Manchester United and revitalize their season with new tactics, new personnel, and a lot of changes into their team, coming off the defeat against Liverpool of Manchester United losing 5-0. Now, before we start, check out both my books. They're online, they're on Amazon, and there's links in the description below. And it's important to mention that I think Graham Potter, Pochettino, and Ten Hag are all better long-term options for Manchester United than their current manager and Antonio Conte. But if Manchester United are serious about finishing as high in the table as possible and potentially winning some silverware via the FA Cup or the League Cup or making it further in the Champions League, I think Conte for this season is their best option to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjær, who at the moment doesn't look like they're going to change. But if Conte was to take charge, we would see a Man U playing with 3 central defenders, which would probably look like Lindelof, Varane, and Maguire as the 3 out-and-out central defenders. Then Wan-Bissaka and Shaw would then be the likely wingbacks, although I think Wan-Bissaka could see his role in jeopardy if Conte came into the side, just because Wan-Bissaka is very good defensively, but not very good going forward. And with a back 5, the wingbacks need to be good and proficient at going forward. So we could see this change as well. But the big changes will be in the midfield area. Now, after the performance of Fred and McTominay, I would see that Matic would probably have to start at least their big games for Manchester United if Conte was the manager in his 5-3-2, as he likes to have 3 midfielders. Pogba would play on the left-hand side through the half space, and defensively he would join the other 3 midfielders, creating a 3-man midfield, and this would give him more flexibility defensively as well, and not giving him as much space to cover when they press. Antonio Conte likes to play deeper in the midfield or low block, which would allow Pogba to have more cover in his defensive role. Matic and McTominay alongside him would be clear out-and-out defensive midfielders alongside him to also cover the ground and make up for his lack of defensive ability. And then up top we had Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes. And now the interesting part about this, and think what we would see from Conte if he were to take over Man U, is we'd have our build-up, but now we can look at when the defense is set in place, we can look at how Manchester United would progress the ball past their opponents. And this is one of the most important parts of the game, and it's one of the biggest struggles for Manchester United at the moment, is when they are in possession, not being susceptible to counterattacks and transitions, but also being able to progress the ball under control with deliberate offensive actions going forward. So now, just right off the top, we see Maguire. Matic could come over and create a 4-man rondo structure, with Pogba, Shaw, and Maguire, allowing them to then try and isolate 2 opposing midfield and forward players, which would then give them the numerical advantage to progress the ball. But most of the time, it is not that easy to just use shifting principles and having 2 forwards that are very stagnant and creating these natural overloads with 4 players and then accessing the space between the lines. Things just don't work that easily anymore, with teams being more modern defensively and having more complex shifting and being prepared for more complex offensive actions. So what we could see is McTominay slotting in next to Matic to create a double pivot, creating more passing options into the central midfielders from the back line. We still have Pogba in the advanced space, but now we have Bruno Fernandes coming into the right half space on the weak side, playing in a much more specified role rather than his number 10 free roam role he's playing right now that sees him running in behind a lot. But now, by playing the half space, we can see him get on the ball between the lines and between defenders more and be part of a midfield that generates numerical superiority with Shaw advancing. And now we can have some freedom with Wan-Bissaka probably playing a little bit deeper to simplify his role in possession, but But with Shaw advancing, creating this asymmetry, it would then be much harder to defend against a Manchester United team that is well drilled and well versed in this sense. Then we have Ronaldo too, who likes to create height and limit his influence throughout most of the game other than when they're in and around the box. And the biggest thing is having Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, and Luke Shaw underneath him in more advanced positions to then create this qualitative superiority that you get when you have Ronaldo on the field when he enters the final third and inside the box. So having these players around Ronaldo will only benefit the team and make them a very dangerous threat in the final third. And now we can look at when the team is playing in a low block, how Man U can set up against this to then limit the influence their opponents have in transition, which was one of the crucial things that Liverpool did so much better than them with when they regained possession, how they transitioned. Apart from all the other phases, Liverpool pretty much dominated. But with 2 holding midfielders and 3 central defenders, we have a very strong cover player of Varane, and then Maguire and Lindelof playing in the half space, being able to then progress the ball via dribbling, but having a lot of options of Wan-Bissaka, Fernandes, McTominay, and Varane around these players so that they have easy outlets if they do get trapped in possession. Now with having Fernandes and Pogba playing in more advanced positions and Ronaldo, these 3 players are key. This is not a team that can counter-press and be really effective in transition. Now, if we wanted to do this, we'd have to play with Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and maybe Edison Cavani up top. So there's a lot of options and a lot of key players missing from this side. And like we said, Conte wouldn't be a manager to take Man U, develop the players, and see out a long-term project. If they wanted to just get results this season, they would have to sacrifice the development of some of their really promising young players. But with that being said, we have a very strong lineup here that could potentially challenge for the top 4. I still don't think this would get them anywhere close to being better than the top 3 at the moment. They might pull off a few big victories against these teams with the game winners within their side, but I just don't think tactically the players are good enough, and throughout their whole starting 11, they don't have a good core group of 11 players with a clear identity with how they want to play. So if you guys disagree, or if you guys think a better manager would be suited to take over Man U for the short term this season to get points, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what your thoughts are about Man United in general. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.